All right, everybody. I got a 2007 Honda Shadow Sabre 1100, and this I'm making this video because I have not seen a video yet on a starter issue like I have on my bike. So I wanted to make this one because I'm going to figure this out with you guys and see what we can determine the problem is. And my starter issue is not the fact that it starts trying, cranking and it just and it won't start. No, mine, I hit the switch and nothing happens at all, and it left me at a store. I had it towed home, and some of you can say it's the battery and everything. This battery is less than a year old, and it's not a battery issue. Plus, I have my charger here that I always have it plugged in to get a full charge, and it does have a full charge. I'm getting the same thing, so it's definitely not a battery issue. I checked the fuses, but let me first show you the problem that's having, because I see a lot of videos people fixing stuff, but they don't first show what the issue is, so it kind of can relate to you. So I'm gonna turn the key here. I'm gonna show you the lights turn on. Okay, put my starter switch on, and this is what I get. See, the lights turn off because it's trying to start the bike. If you can see the green light there, you can't. It dims just a tiny bit, showing that it's trying to start the bike, but nothing's happening and no crank. It's making contact in here, but nothing at all. Okay, and I went ahead, and you would say, well, that's definitely a fuse or something. You're not getting anything at all. It's not a battery issue or anything, obviously. But I checked these fuses here, and obviously there's a starter ignition fuse there. They're all good. There's no issue there. So I was looking online, and what I want to do is I'm going to do a process of elimination. The first thing I'm going to do is I am going to take this off. Well, not the whole thing, but actually there's two screws on the bottom here. Let's see, hopefully you guys can see it. I don't know if you can, but there's two screws right there. And what I'm going to do is take those screws off. This bottom piece is going to pop off. I'm going to be able to take this switch off, and I'm going to clean it up. Now, this is garage kept, so it's not always exposed to the elements. I don't expect this to be very bad, but when I got it with I think 20,000 miles or 2,100 miles, and now I have 25, and it's always been garage kept for me, but I don't know if the previous owner had it like that, although it looked like it did. So I'm going to take that off, and I'm going to clean it up, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to do that. The next step after that is I am going to look under the seat here for the 30, what is it? It's a 30 fuse ignition fuse that's here. And it's under the seat. I saw it online. I'm not a mechanic. Obviously, I can't even speak the lingo. After that, I am going to look for the... Oh, what's it called? God, I forgot the name of it. See if I can come up with the name. Relay. Relay is the name. Yeah, I'm going to look for the relay, and I am going to swap out the relay to see if that's the issue, because, again, I am not a mechanic. I'm sure there's ways out there troubleshooting before you buy parts, but either this switch, when it did start, either this switch or the relays was showing like it was kind of giving out, because it was like, and then it start. So I don't know. After that, then I'm going to start looking to see if it might be they say that you have a switch, a safety pedal switch, that if you have the pedal out, it won't start as a safety feature, but that's only when it's on gear. If you have it on neutral, you can start it while it's just sitting right there. And so I tried it in gear, I tried it out of gear, and it just won't start. So I know that's not the switch that's there. And there's another switch, it's called a gear switch, a gear safety switch. It's located somewhere under the bike there. And then that'll be one of the last things that I'm going to try to see if if the coils don't fix it, and it's not a fuse down here, then that's what I'm going to do. So I'm just posting this video, and that's the introduction of it. So I'm gonna, as I go along, I'll be pausing and starting the video all over again and see how far we get with the bike to get it started again. Okay, guys, so I got the two screws out from the bottom right here, and I'm gonna pop this piece out. Again, it's the first time that I do. Well, you can see got some, I don't know if you can see it there, but it's got some, let me focus. There we go. It's dirty, definitely dirty. Got some web in there and everything. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean that out. I'm gonna show you how I clean that out. I don't know if this is a problem, guys, but oh, there's a bee right there. But I saw somebody online do this, and it seemed to fix their problem. But they never showed exactly what the starting issue they were having. They were more focused on the headlights not turning on, because the headlights and everything is based on that switch. So there's a little screw right there as well that you need to take off. See that screw right here? There's a screw right there that we need to take off in order to take that bracket off. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that now. Try to keep this focused for you guys. Okay, so I took the screw out, and here's the little bracket that goes in there to hold the cables together. All right, and it looks like there's another screw behind it underneath it here. Let's see if you guys can see it. Focus. There it is. That's the screw back there that I'm going to go ahead and take out next. Alright, so I got it, and now the housing comes off. You can see the housing came off. Here's the switch. It looks kind of dirty. What we want to look is what's inside the switch to see if it's dirty. It looks like it's got a little bit of oil there. I don't know if it's supposed to have that there. Let me take a flathead. Basically what we're doing here, let me show you guys the switch real quick. This is the switch. And you can see it's got a little corrosion there and everything, and underneath it. And basically the connection port is going to be underneath this inside. So we're going to go ahead and take that out by putting a flathead screwdriver on the side here. Be very careful, because from my understanding this is very fragile and it could snap, and we don't want to snap that, because then you would have to buy the whole piece again. So I'm going to go ahead and take that off. It's off on this side, and it just came off. And yeah, it is pretty dirty. Let me show you guys that. This is a little connection piece, and you guys can see how dirty that is, and looks kind of, I don't know what's on there. It looks kind of worn, so it could be the source of the problem. And then as you can see here, the connections itself, look how dirty those are. And I know that two of them are for lights, and the other two are for the ignition. And it's got oil or something under there. And I don't know if that's what's contributing to the bike not starting at all. So that's going to be my first thing. I'm going to go ahead and clean that out. I'm going to find a sandpaper somewhere, and I'm going to clean that out, and we'll get back to this. Okay guys, I also wanted to show you on this switch that if you guys push in and then up a little bit like this, and it comes right off. And in here, because underneath it there's a little ball, and that ball just to slide it back and forth, and you can see that there's some little oil there, I guess, to keep it lubricated so it can continue to go back and forth easily. And the little spring is right there. It doesn't have a lot of tension, but I'm sure you don't want to lose that. For mine, it's kind of in there, so I'm not even going to bother taking that off because it needs to be there. But basically, this is how it goes back. You kind of see, Go in here, push it down, and then it kind of locks in there, and you're good to go. So I'm gonna push in and out again, and I'm gonna leave that as is. I'm not gonna worry about cleaning that because I need that oil. I don't think I have any to do that. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean this out. I'm not even gonna bother with that ball either. It looks fine. It's just those connections there, and then the connections over there at the bike. Okay, guys. So I cleaned out the switch, the prongs there. Now, don't overdo it with the sanding because you don't want it to go down. Notice that mine are kind of lifted up. I stuck my flathead in there and I kind of bended it up just to make sure you get a good connection, because if you're sanding it and sanding it down, once you put everything back together, it may not make that contact. So just to ensure that I was going to get that contact, I just took a little flathead and I bended it up just slightly on each side, as you can see, and then I cleaned them out. And then the switch, well, I'm gonna go ahead and put this back on here. There we go, so we're back on there, the way it's supposed to be. But the switch itself that was really dirty that you guys saw, I cleaned it out very good, and I sanded the crap out of that one. So now I'm gonna put everything back together and see if that solved the issue. Okay, just to show you guys, I'm putting it back together. Basically, I'm just gonna go in, since it kind of clips on, I'm gonna go in one side first, make sure they're in the hole, and then push down and clip on the other side, which I just did. Make sure it's clipped on all four sides. Then I'm gonna put the housing back. So this is gonna go right into the housing. I'm gonna go right through there. And I'm gonna put that screw back. A little tiny screw that we had, put that back in there. And after you put that screw on, that puts this together with the housing, then we put that little bracket back on, screw that on, and then the two screws will put everything back together. Okay, so I put that little screw on, but I noticed something. Once I put the screw on, I went ahead and pressed the button, and you remember how I just told you that you bend those prongs kind of up so you can make that connection. I think I might have overdone it just a tad. Why? Because when I press the button now, it kind of gets a little bit stuck. It's easy to get pulled back, but it should just go in and out without getting stuck halfway, as you can see it there. See? So I'm going to go ahead and take that screw off again. I'm going to bend those down a little bit again and put this back on. So I will probably, if you are going to do it and if you are going to bend it, just make sure you get a connection. Do it very slightly, not as much as I did, so you don't have that problem. It should just be smooth. It was completely smooth before. So I'm going to go ahead and take that out and change that. Okay, I went ahead and put everything back after I bent those down again. And now it doesn't get stuck. So I just overdid it, and I think it's got to be like a hair if you want to do that. If you feel that you're still going to get a good connection out of it, then don't even bother. But I just saw another guy did it. He sanded it down, and when he put it back together, he wasn't even getting a connection at all. So I was trying to avoid that problem, but I overdid it. So now it's good to go. Now I'm going to put that bracket back together to hold these cables down. Put the housing back on here and give that a shot. Now, some of you may be asking, aren't you going to try this piece? Well, honestly, I don't think it's this piece. This piece has worked fine for me, and I got other things hooked up to it, and I don't want to go that route unless I totally have to. I will go back to this as a last resort for me, just to see if it's a switch. But it could be. I mean, but I just want to do process of elimination, and there's a couple of things on the bike that I want to swap out. On the end, you'll see what the actual problem is, and you can go straight to there. But for right now, this is the way I'm going about it. Okay, just so you guys know, there are two screws to putting the housing back on the bike. Okay, you got a short screw and a long screw. They're not that much of a difference, but one's longer than the other. The long one goes on the back side towards the front of the bike, and then the short one goes towards the seat. So when you put in this housing back, those are two screws. Short one right here, back one, the long one on the back. So you guys know. All right, guys. So I got it back on there. The switch goes in and out, no problem. So now I'm gonna turn the key and see if that solved my issue. Turn the key. That's on. That's down. Here we go. There you go, guys. This is my first time dealing with a bike. I saw that. Let me turn that off and put the throttle down. Start that again. That was a quick fix. I did not expect that to be the problem, to be honest with you. I just saw a video online and I figured, okay, let me start with that, because other than that, I was going to go to the coils and I was going to look for the ignition fuse under the seat there, and then go to the other switches, the safety switches, to see if that was causing the problem. But this bike has never given me a problem. I love this bike, and for it to leave me stranded was a first, and I had it for like 2 years now. And it's been, I love this bike. So for me to be able to fix it, just cleaning that out, that's awesome. So there's the fix. If you're having the same problem, that could be, there's a good chance that's the problem right there. It was not making a connection. It was too dirty, whatnot. Even though this is garage kept, you saw how dirty it got in there from me doing washes to it and everything. So try that first, guys. Save yourself a little money. I hope this video helped you guys. Good luck and drive safe.